Yo, man, what's good? It's your boy, Willie Gardens, and we back with another video. Yes, we are back with another video, and I'm telling you, I had such a great time playing ESG Football's PS5 beta this past weekend. It was lit. I'm telling you, it was lit, bruh. Now, look, I ain't gonna lie, man. Your boy, like, when I'm not playing offensive line, defensive line, or if I'm not playing, like, linebacker or something like that, like, I love playing corner, okay? I love playing corner, but I ain't gonna lie, man, playing wide receiver is super fun too. I low-key fell in love with it, but at the same time, oh wait, let me come back. At the same time, I was upset too, because once I actually started to get a hang of playing wide receiver, because I'm a defensive guy, I was open like 47,000 times and nobody wanted to throw the ball. Nah, don't care. Let me chill. I'm okay, look, I'm exaggerating, but I'm not exaggerating at the same time, man. First off, real quick, side note, hey man, let's get this video to like 400 likes. I definitely appreciate it. I would definitely appreciate that, man, the love and support on that. You guys have been showing mad love on the channel, so thank you so much. But look, like I was saying, back to my rant, bruh. Once I finally figured out how to get open like 99% of the time, let me chill, I'm spazzing right now, bro. But no, I'm not spazzing because it's real. If I could show y'all, bro, if I could show y'all the amount of times that I was open. Now, look, I will say this in the QB's defense and in the bunch of the newbies' defense, right? Now, ESG, there's this thing where, of course, that lurk in ESG is real. So a lot of times, okay, somebody might think that they're open, but in reality, they're not. But the thing is, and here, look, I ain't gonna lie, next playtest, I think I might have to play QB, like just a little bit, okay? Because I ain't gonna lie, I went into the head-to-head and I made a QB, and when I tell you, like, I was able to lob the ball. I never had any issues, and that's why so it did make me kind of want to, like, I wondered what were people referring to, right? Now I did, this is what I mean, because it kept saying I'm hitting the button, I can't throw the ball, or this and this and blah blah blah. Now there was an instance where I did hit the button. Oh my goodness, I can't talk, Jesus Christ. I did hit the button, and I didn't throw the ball, right? But as I was hitting the button, I was trying to like slide out or run, or like, I think my finger accidentally hit something, right? And so I think what happens is that sometimes we be trying to like do certain things and we end up hitting something else and it cancels out what's happening. Or I think if you spam the button because you're so used to, I'm hitting the button, that it ain't working. I don't know, because I didn't experience any of that outside of that one instance, but it was because I tried to sprint. Like, I think I tried to sprint or something, but I didn't have a high throw and a run. So I tried to sprint and throw the ball and I couldn't. Excuse me. And then right after, I got sacked. So then that's another thing with playing QB that I did notice, is that when this ain't like Madden where you can throw out of like getting hit, right? You know what I'm saying? Like if you're in that throwing motion, but you have not got to the point or the peak to where you're releasing that ball, you're not going to be able to throw it. You're going to get sacked. You're going to get tackled. And so I did notice that, right? And so in their defense, you know what I'm saying? I do understand, I do get it. But to a certain degree, I didn't, because I had no issues lobbing the ball. Like, I had no issues like throwing like in tight spaces. Yeah. Like, I had no issue doing none of that stuff. And so I don't know. So I am curious to actually try to see when there's more users, to see if maybe something's different. So I think the next play test, I am going to try that, because I don't play quarterback. I don't like playing quarterback, but I was really so curious because I kept hearing it, like, that I was just like, yo, I gotta low-key see this for myself. And so but outside of that, I'm gonna be honest with you, I was open so many times, bro. I was open so many times, and then there was times where it was like, this is why I wish I could, this is why I ain't gonna lie, sometimes I'm like, dang, I wish I could show gameplay, because while I don't think people get that there's a stat, and I don't know if it was active or not on his playtest, but there is a stat where releasing the ball, there's a speed to it. Now, if it wasn't active, then it makes sense on why the ball would come out like the same way for everyone, right? Because what I was noticing a lot is that when people were throwing the ball, they were hitting me late, which then gave DB, anybody that played DB, okay? Anybody that played DB, and this on some real stuff, I don't even, and y'all could correct me if I'm wrong. If anybody was playing DB in this play test, right? And then of course, you know, you might have some people that ain't gonna be 100 with it because they want to, you know, say that they the lurker of all lurkers. But I do believe that based upon what I saw, that I don't even think half the time that people got picks, they were lurking. I think at the end of the day, it's like at some point you're gonna see that the wide receiver is open. And so if the QB don't hit him when he's supposed to hit him, you have time to get over there. And I saw it so many times. Bruh, to where it's like, yo, like you hit me a little too late, bruh. You hit me a little too late. And so it's one of those things to where I think that as they like start to add certain things, like I know they're I don't know if I can say that. I ain't even gonna say that. But I know that there's certain mechanics that they are adding to the game that's already in the game, but they wasn't active during the play test. And so once they add those type of things, I do think playing quarterback, you will be able to see more of, I guess, the importance of being able to make good reads and to be able to lead the ball, if that makes sense, like to be able to put it really, really where you want to, you know what I'm saying? So overall, I had so much fun, man. I think the only downfall I would take from this weekend is a lot of the new cats was scared to like talk. And so I really want people to understand that this is a player versus player game. So the play test was 4v4, but when we start to get to this, when we get to the 7-on-7, when we get to the 11-on-11, like I'm gonna let you know right now, I'm not gonna play with you. And most of the OGs, if not all of them, ain't none of them gonna play with you. Like, or they gonna tell you, yo, put your mic on. Like, because you have to be able to communicate in that game. If you do not communicate in that game, I'm telling you, you will not have you're cutting yourself short of the experience. It is a game that is literally, it's a lot, and that's the difference between good teams, when good people match up together, versus when it's people who are used to, I'm just gonna do it myself. I'm just gonna da-da-da-da. I'm just gonna rely on my my skill sets. I'm just gonna rely on this. No, you cannot play ESG football like that. You cannot play like that. If you play like that, you're gonna have people saying, oh, it's just a beta, bro. You gotta remember, it's just a beta, bro. No, use your IQ. Like, don't get me wrong. There was some things where it's like, dang, like certain things where I wasn't getting the animation when I'm like right next to somebody or something like that, right? There's certain little small stuff that will pop up here and there, but that was the purpose of the test, right? But to solely blame the fact that you ain't winning, or the fact that whatever else is going on, because, oh, it's just a beta, bro. We got to remember it's just a beta. Nah, that is true. We do have to remember it's a beta, and the purpose of us playing the beta is to find the bugs, right? But we also can't blame the beta for the reason that you playing the way that you playing. Like, I don't know what other nice way to say it. Like, it's not Madden where you literally can, like I said, just rely on animation or rely on the attributes or the skill sets. No, like, you have to use your brain. You have to use your brain. There was times when I went in there with a 5'7" wide receiver, 160 pounds, but I was still able to hold my block. Or even if I was going up against someone that I couldn't block, I was still making sure I got in front of them, got a block enough to where I put a body, a hat on a hat, to where the running back could do what he need to do. Like what? You know what I'm saying? So it's just certain things, right? To where it's like, I understood that, hey, I'm telling the QB, and I ain't gonna lie. This weekend, I played with a lot of new cats. And so it's like, I kept saying certain stuff or telling them certain stuff, and people just wanted to do what they wanted to do. So I went into this weekend kind of knowing like, okay, it's a lot of new dudes in here. They have to break that mold. They have to break that mindset of Madden. And so it's like, and I kept seeing people talking about, oh, the offensive line kept getting through. And don't get me wrong, on certain plays, the offensive line was OP. But then I'm also seeing, as soon as people hike the ball, they're immediately rolling to the right. They're immediately backing up 20,000 yards. They're immediately rolling out to the left. Like, what are we doing? And so it's just one of those things to where it's like, you're not allowing your offensive line to block for you. And you know, so that's what I'm saying, right? Because why? In Madden, You can, as long as you got the right cards or the right this or the right that, whatever the case may be, or the right team, you might get 20 seconds in the pocket. You might get 20 seconds in the pocket, bro. That's just the reality of what it is when it comes to Madden. ESG is, it can be 2 to 4. And if you got a good offensive line 7-on-7, like we did when we played in the tourney, you got about 7. You had about 7, maybe 8. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just one of those things, man, where the mindset, the mode of Madden has to be broken for a lot of people, I think. And so I definitely went into it with the mindset of understanding, like, yo, I'm gonna have fun, but I'm gonna lose a lot, and I'm gonna try to help out as much as I can. But I ain't gonna lie to you, a lot of young cats don't like to listen. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could tell there was a lot of teenagers in there, which was cool. I could tell there was you know, maybe some dudes that was like early 20s or whatever. And it was definitely a bunch of, not a bunch, but a few like younger kids that you could tell was probably like 12, 13, 14 at the most. And so it was cool, man, because that's how you build the community. You know what I'm saying? So to see the amount of people that went from the waiting room to the actual ESG chat where you get to play the game, that was super dope. That was super fun, bro. Like, I really enjoyed myself when it came to that. Just to see the growth, right? You know, especially being a day one type guy, just to see the growth of the game, to see the growth of the community, especially because so many people is fake this, is fake that, blah, 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 whatever. And I just can't wait until, because again, a lot of people did not get that 7-on-7 experience. And so for all the few hundred people or whatever the case may be that added, like that's added now, when you play 7-on-7, I promise you, if you thought you had fun this weekend, you are going to have a blast, and you're going to see 100%. Now I see why they say this ain't like Madden. Because I could tell a lot of the cats that play football, right? Like I said, there's a lot of young cats, so they either play football, they play football, they're in college, they're in high school, whatever the case may be. And then there's a lot of old heads who probably was coaches or they played or whatever the case may be. Everybody in there should have some level of IQ, right? But but when you play Madden, you don't necessarily have to use that unless you're playing competitive. And even in competitive, you really don't have to use that because Madden had a bunch of cheese plays. Now, was there certain cheese plays that's in the game? It will be considered that way for the simple fact of sometimes with the AI seem a little overpowered versus when the other team has certain AI. But I'm telling you, when you get to 7-on-7, when you in that 7-on-7 and your offensive line is users, and everybody on that field is a user, you're gonna see us a whole different level of competition and a whole different ball game, and people are going to get exposed. You're gonna have to make builds to counter running backs. You're gonna have to make builds that's like if you can't go out there with 17 wide receivers. You're not gonna be able to do that. Because if you're playing against a team who got jackrabbits, who got a bruiser, who got all this different type of stuff, they gonna run all over you. And you ain't gonna be able to tackle nobody. And so but then we sit there and be like, you're gonna sit there and be like, man, this is trash, and blah, blah, blah. You ain't got no tackling. You ain't got no tackling. What are we talking about? You see what I'm saying? So it's just like, come on, bro. But anyway, like I said, it was a lot of dudes' first times in there. This is the first weekend in there for them. So I'm definitely glad that they got in there, and I'm glad that the community is growing. So there's now more people to, BTA. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't gonna lie, I wasn't able to play with my squad at all this weekend. So like I said, it was a little rough for me, but I definitely did my thing individually. But again, you gotta be able to play this game as a team, bro. If you don't play this game as a team, you're gonna lose. You're definitely gonna lose. So, but shout out to Ray and Lamont and all them and the admins and everybody that was in there that was making sure this thing was smooth. And I will say, there was a few people that's like, yo, what? But a lot of those people didn't make it into past the waiting room. And so to all the people that did make it through the waiting room and got to play the game this weekend, and congrats to you, shout out to you. I ain't gonna lie, I love the way you guys conducted yourself. There was a lot of people that I encountered that they was respectful and they was cool. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I definitely had a good experience. I definitely look forward to playing this weekend coming up. I have to double check to make sure that we are going to be able to do it this weekend, or if we're still doing bi-weekly. I wasn't able to look at everything to see if it was confirmed, but I would definitely confirm that in a pinned comment and at the bottom of this video. So but anyway, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Again, let's get this thing to like 500 likes, man. I definitely appreciate it. And drop a comment, man. If you see this video and you was in the play test, let me know what you thought about the game. You know what I'm saying? Let's chop it up for real. Yeah, and just go from there, man. So God bless you guys. Appreciate you guys. Shout out to the boys over at ESG, man. You guys are the truth, greatest, for real, man. God bless. God bless. It's your boy Willie Gardens, man. I'll see y'all next time.